Welcome to Olmsted Falls, Ohio. Population about 8,500. It is a suburb of Cleveland metropolitan area, and you are currently looking at a historic train engine there, and with a historic caboose to go with it. We're at a place called Grand Pacific Junction. Grand Pacific Junction is located in beautiful, quote unquote, downtown Olmsted Falls. It is a very historic area that was revamped in the late 80s and turned into more of a walking village for visitors and for locals the same. There's an old train station here. It says, next stop is Berea, which is the next town to the east of here. All of these homes and buildings were built in the 1800s, and you'll see some of them say circa 18, 34 or whatever. It's a beautiful place to take the family on a nice spring or summer day. Everything's closed today because it is Christmas. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good year, to Happy New Year ahead as well. Now, the most significant part of this town and why I chose it was because I was born and raised here. So I know what I'm looking at and where I'm going. Unlike in videos in the past where I had no idea where I was going. But yeah, look here, established 1893. It's turned into like some sort of farmhouse, uh, gift shop of some sort. And then back over here to the little old train station there for Olmsted Falls. There are a lot more buildings to show, so I will let you see them all. So that way you can bring your little ones down here for a nice walk in the summer. There's a great big gazebo over there as well. Now, that gazebo is rather modern, but looks like you can have perhaps a wedding or a picnic or some sort of family gathering over there, and so on and so forth. And there's an old horse carriage, people carriage, a buggy, if you will. I like how they're using all these buildings for, some sort of gift shop, or I know there's a ice cream parlor in this red building straight ahead. Um, Used to be called Falls Ice Cream. I think it still is. It says Clementine's on the back, but I think that's just misleading, unless it's two different businesses in one, which very well is possible. But let's go take a look at the rest of this little village. Yeah, so Clementine's is a Victorian restaurant and bakery. And there's Falls Ice Cream. Old fashioned ice cream. And from what I remember, it tastes really, really good. So it's a great place to bring the kiddos or just come down here for a stroll by yourself, even like I'm doing. Everything all decorated for Christmas here in the holiday season. One advantage is I have the whole place to myself. Major disadvantage, everything's closed. Well, I guess if we need to use the restroom, there is an outhouse there. Here's a building circa 1860, and it's called the Carriage House originally, and it's called now the Artist Colony. Looks like they have all kinds of gifts and things, especially if you were interested in buying anything for the holiday season. You have a bridal shop over here, bridal boutique. Continue taking a stroll down this way. You got Peg's Knit and Spin. I like how they preserved the old boardwalk, if you will, in front of the buildings. Give it that old saloon style feel. And I remember being a kid and riding my bicycle through here uh, in the late 80s. I want to say probably 88, 89. They were revamping all of this and turning it into, uh, well, they were refurbishing them. They're turning them into more modern day shops. I don't remember what they were being used for prior to the revamp. But needless to say, they have kept up since the late 80s, done a fantastic job preserving the history of Olmsted Falls. I've been in quite a few of these buildings over the years. Whenever I come to visit, I have been in some clothing stores and places like that. And now we're back over here on Columbia Road, also known as Route 252. It's a state route. And this is more of the main drag and thoroughfare of Olmsted Falls. Now you have the historical side over here on the right, and you have more of the modern side over here on the left. Places like Discount Drug Mart and Keith's Jewelers and businesses like that. And then you come back over here to one historic building, and it's called the Grand Pacific Popcorn and Sweets. Really nice looking place there. Very historic. Right along the railroad tracks as a trailer goes past. And you got a little bit more storefronts over on this side, including the Mateos that we walked past here alongside of a minute ago. Ohio Wick House, looks like a candle shop. I've been in this one here, Toys, Dolls, and Minis. It's a great place to check out different types of toys. Not your common uh, Toys R Us style toys, although Toys R Us is dearly missed by many, including myself. But well, it looks like this one here is vacant. If anybody wants to open up a something, there you go, right here on the end of the strip. And now you have 3 railroad tracks here. Now this can be quite dangerous. So you got 1, 2, 3. So whenever you think the coast is clear, it may not be. So you always, no matter what, you want to look both ways when you're crossing this railroad tracks because, well, these cross arms have gone out at not necessarily this location, but every location from time to time. So you want to be careful in this town. Make sure you grab your kiddos by the hands and check both ways. But yeah, a little bit more historic area over here. Looks like there's a realty company may moved into this one. And we have Willow and Wood, beautiful mines, unique finds. I have Allstate moved in over here on this end. If I can remember correctly, Domino's Pizza used to be in here a long time ago. I want to say this was the location of Domino's quite a while back. This looks to be residential here, so we're not going to bother these folks too much, as we'll swing right on past it. And it looks like Clint Williams Real Estate Company, Legacy Properties, has moved into this location. Now, they used to be to the left up here and down across the river. Looks like that they decided to move into the historic area. Here's a millstone mercantile. And it looks like another residential complex here. And we end up at a beautiful wedding chapel here on the end. Now, that noise in the background, those are airplanes landing at Cleveland's Hopkins International Airport, which is air miles only about, 2 or 3 miles that way. So that was a plane taking off. Here is Olmsted Community Church. I'm not sure if I've ever been in this building. If I have, it was during like maybe a church sale or something like that back long ago. And then you end up in, this is the continuation of Route 252. 252 goes to the left here and then wraps around. Now, this building up here on the right, the blue building, that has a lot of historic um, meaning to it, but I was going to say that that was the very old 1800s shoe um, shoemaker's building, but actually I've mistaken. That is not it. But it does have a lot of historic significance. Now, down here, I will show you the shoemaker building where they made shoes long, long time ago. And it is a beautiful day here in Olmsted Falls. Again, beautiful weather, mid 50s for December. It's just absolutely amazing. You can't ask for better weather to do some vlogging on a winter holiday. And so there it is. The building that's like a dark charcoal color. That is the old shoemaker's building. They made shoes from scratch there. It was an old mill, textile mill, and then they just made shoes in that building for years and years, I guess, back in the 1800s, early 1900s. And I think maybe the owner of it lived in these buildings here to my right. We're going to go ahead and cross here safely while we have a shot. But we will also show you Olmsted Falls, the actual falls. And there is the back side of that wedding chapel. Now, down there will lead you to the falls. But I promised you that I would show you the falls. Well, we're not there yet. But this is one of the creeks that will bring you to it. So I believe this is Mill Creek, and it will lead you to the falls. Well, let's take a quick break, and I will come back and show you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is a covered bridge, but it is only for pedestrians and bicycles, strollers, and type of items like that. Uh, that has been replaced since I was a child. They had a car bridge there when I was growing up that was called the Water Street Bridge. I've never been across this gap from here over across the river to there by car before. It was always closed off because it was never safe to travel with an automobile across, and it started decaying over the years. So the city raised enough money to have the Amish, which is there's a huge Amish community about an hour or two south of here, and they were kind enough to build this bridge. They brought it in via truck and plopped it right on in to make it more safe for visitors and locals alike. We're not quite at the falls yet, but we are on the trail, the Dan Wah Nature Trail, part of the Olmsted Falls Community Park. Now, a little bit of history with these types of rocks. These are quarry stones, limestones, and they would turn these into all sorts of tables and um, well, I mean, headstones, you name it. So they had all sorts of different purpose, but you'll see some of those tables and benches when we get further down the line. They don't mine this area anymore, but you can tell where they did at one time. And here is that Dan Wah Nature Trail that I was ever so excitingly talking about. And this will lead us out to the falls. Now, there's more than one set of falls. There's a shallow one, and there's a little bit more of a, I don't know, typical picturesque falls, if you will. So let's go down there and check them out. Now, this building to my right is actually a restroom. So if you're down here with the youngins and your family, you want to have a picnic, you can do so in the pavilion over there, and you have some restrooms. Now, I can't promise if they're clean or not, but they are there. Now, as we get a little bit closer, you're going to see a round looking almost like a tree stump type of thing. That's actually a limestone table. That was from the quarry. If I can zoom in the right direction there. And there she is, covered in moss in all of her glory. And there is another one to the right. Let's go over here and check out this limestone quarry table. Of course, you know, it's been replaced with modern day picnic tables and things around it, but yeah, you could used to be able to come down here and actually use this table as a picnic table. I suppose you still could, but look at the age on this thing. I mean, it is seen some years for sure. And here is the park, the community park. There's your pavilion I was talking about where you can have some cookouts, and it's a nice little area here for the kids to play ball or frisbee right in this area here. Bring your dog down here, have a little bit of fun. Now, um, you can climb to the top of this. I used to do so as a kid quite a bit. You can get a little bit more of a aerial perspective. I'm not quite too sure if it's safe nowadays to do so, but if it is, I will give it a shot. Now these old steps here, they are old limestone rocks as well. That's how long these were put in. And then look at this path. Good thing I brought my Keen high top boots. Need them on a day like today. Never know what you're going to end up doing. Now there is the shallow falls. Now, during the drought, I could actually ride my bicycle clear across that. But you can also, on a little bit more of a calmer day, not like today, but on a calmer day with the water still flowing, you can actually use that as a natural water slide. A lot of kids do that. I have too. You come down, you start right around in here, you get a little bit of momentum, slide right on down, and then there's actually a landing there before it dives straight in. So it's a nice little place to go swimming on a hot day. I wouldn't recommend using it as a water slide on a day like today or riding your bicycle across it like I did, but nonetheless, it is a beautiful spot, especially in the fall. Now, there are more waterfalls down here, so let's go ahead and go around this area and give you a different perspective. All right, guys, we're just about over here to the rest of the falls. Now, for some reason, I'm not seeing the taller falls over here. It's interesting because I could have swore it was right there. Oh, very muddy in this area. Sinking in already. Yeah, so yeah, there's several falls in Olmsted Falls. You have this one, you have one way further up this direction, up by that shoe mill that I talked about earlier. Then you have this little mini shallow fall right there. And then you have this one here coming down, another shallow. And this one here is actually a pretty good sized drop that goes down over there. All right. So this is probably the most picturesque spot in all of Olmsted Falls. And like I said, in the fall, it's beautiful. And no, that is not snow right there. That is like um, it's foam created by minerals and deposits that are coming down from the rivers and creeks and stuff. So it's like we've had enough rain to keep this thing flowing pretty good. So yeah, here's the falls of Olmsted Falls. Nothing too spectacular, but worth the walk down here to give you guys a view of it. Again, right near where the picnic tables and uh, the pavilions and gazebos and stuff are at. A lot of history in this area. Again, limestone in this area here. People have carved their names in it over the years. The show that they have been here and done that, and well, they didn't get the t-shirt, but they got the limestone engraving, I guess. So from here, we're going to go ahead and take a walk back up to downtown, in quotation marks, yet again. And the reason I just do that is because it's just a historic village. But that's what makes this town unique and different to all the rest of Cleveland suburbs, is that it's over here on the far southwest side and just has a little bit more of a quaint feel. It never really grew up huge in population, and it has preserved its history. All right, we're going to take a walk back uphill. We're going to see what kind of shape I'm in. When we get to the top, you'll be able to tell if I'm out of breath or not. We'll see you at the top.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by.
All right, we're back at the top, street level. And I didn't want to forget to mention, this used to be the Olmsted Falls Public Library. It was always the library from time before I was born up until very recently. I don't know what they're converting it into now, and I don't know where the new post office is, but they have put a lot of money into it, it looks like, to keep it looking good. It was kind of looking a little drabby there toward the end of its library years. Now, we have walked down past these buildings to my right that you see right now already, but that is the view from this side of the street. This is the old village firehouse. The old village firehouse. Now, again, it's all decorated for the Christmas holiday. And just kind of a quick look at it here. You got Moosehead Hoof and Ladder. And Farmers Insurance seems to be occupying the place at the time. Just a beautiful building altogether. Just a beautiful place. I'm so happy they were able to preserve that. All right, we'll take a look and see what else we got in beautiful Olmsted Falls, Ohio. All right, well, this is Vitamix, maker of mixers and blenders and a lot of commercial grade kitchen appliances. And this is the lifeblood of Olmsted Falls. This is the chief, I guess, industrial part of Olmsted Falls. And this is one of the original buildings that they started making them in. This is the old historic section here. So this is all that was here when I grew up. This building and also this one here on this side. This is where Vitamix all started. Vitamix, very expensive mixers and blenders, all started right there in that building, as well as this one here. So, but as time moved on, they grew and grew and grew. So here, you can see here all some of the old factory and assembly building right there. But right here is the new, modern, fancy Vitamix. I'm so happy they were able to keep the historic side in front as time moved on and business expanded. I'm also happy that they expanded as well. They had to do something to grow rather than destroy the origin of Vitamix. They kept it and built behind it. So good on them. But I wanted to show you Vitamix Corporation, made right here in Olmsted Falls, Ohio, suburb just outside of Cleveland. Now, if you ever look on the bottom of the boxes, it'll say Cleveland, Ohio, 44138. 44138 is the zip code of Olmsted Falls, not Cleveland. They started putting Cleveland on the boxes just because more people recognized Cleveland instead of Olmsted Falls. No one knows where this town is at, but everyone knows where Cleveland's at. So they started putting Cleveland on the box, even though it's incorrect. And here's some residential area of Olmsted Falls. This is Usher Road. Usher Road. And the great big Vitamix sign to my right. Oh. This over here is a housing development, and this housing development here is where I grew up. So I grew up basically across the street from Vitamix Corporation. And this is again, the residential district of Olmsted Falls. I really don't want to impede on anyone's privacy, but that is the house I grew up in right there. Located on Fairlane Drive. And I want to wish everyone a happy holidays and a Merry Christmas if you celebrate. And we'll have to find out where I'm going to be next. I'm gonna see where life brings me to next. Where are we going to film? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and share button. And I'll pop back into your world